Hey y'all, it's your girl, the real deal, Anita Gill. Yes. Like, share, and subscribe. Y'all, I want to give a shout out to Crown TV Court. And this content is the reaction. Bryannita Nicholson, she was the getaway driver for Eric. Now, she said that she was going with him, she was dating him, but she wasn't aware that he shot anyone. Okay, she drove vans and transportation van, and she worked with the elderly people. And she she's the getaway driver. Okay, uh, is she telling the truth? Right now, she sounds like I don't know. I don't allegedly she might be. I don't know. I don't know. It sounds like she helped set Nipsey up allegedly, and distracting him, or either for him to get. It seems like I don't know, y'all. I can't say if she's trying to claim that she didn't love him. She didn't love Eric, all that, but they was going together. I'm gonna let y'all hear the testimony of the getaway driver, okay? And this is Bryannita Nicholson speaking on the. She's speaking towards the grand jury, okay? Okay, let's listen.
Meaning closer to the fat burger. Is that right? Right. You testified that he started eating food there. Is that right? That's right. And then you moved your car through the parking lot into this alley towards 58th Place, correct? Correct. When did he get out of your car? He got out of my car when I stopped. He was talking to me at the time, telling me that he wanted to go get something. Let me stop you. Just listen to the question. All right. Okay? Where was your car when he got out of it? It was like right there before the driveway. Like I was about to get ready to leave, but I was right there like, is it right where I have the cursor? Up a little bit. Right there? Yes. Okay. So you were in front of the driveway that leads to 58th Place. A few feet in front of that, correct? Correct. Is that where he got out of your car? Yes. Is that where you testified he said, wait here, I'll be right back? Right. And did you see him walk off northbound? That would be toward the top of this photo with his food container in his hand. Yes. Did you see any guns at that point? No. Did you see what he did with the gun that you had seen him manipulating earlier? When he got out the car? Yes. No, I didn't see it. Did you see any guns left in your car when he got out where he was sitting? No. When he said, I'll be right back, did he give you any other explanation for why he was walking away from the car or why he wanted you to wait there? No. Did you know what he was going to do? No. Did you ask him what he was going to do? No. Why not? Because he always just leave. He told me he'll be right back, so I just didn't ask him where he was going. I just assumed that maybe he wanted to get something from the plaza or something like that. Was that the first time he ever told you wait somewhere without any explanation? No. Had he done that before? Yes. So on this occasion, is it your testimony that that didn't seem odd or strange to you? Yes, it didn't seem odd at all. Now, after he walked off, some minutes passed and then you heard gunshots and he came running back, correct? Correct. And the first person you saw after the gunshots was some man you didn't know running, correct? Correct. And then after that, Eric, came running back to your car, correct? Correct. Now, okay, you testified that when he got out of your car and walked away from your car, you testified that you didn't know why he was going back to the plaza. Is that correct? That's correct. Did you know he was going back to the plaza? No, I just watched him. When he got out the car, I seen him walking that way. Okay, and so then when you testified that he was coming back to the plaza, that was what? An assumption, or just based on everything you know after the fact? Just based that we was there, so I was just assuming he was going back there? Okay, so even at the time, you assumed he was going back there? Yes. So you testified, and I want to get back to where we were yesterday, that he came back, he jumped in the car, and he told you to drive, correct? Correct. Was he angry at all when he got back in the car? Did he seem angry to you? Yes, he seemed like he had an attitude. Was that the first time that day that he seemed angry or seemed like he had an attitude to you? On my way going, he didn't want me to touch him on his stomach. He didn't want me to touch him on our way going there. What do you mean by that? I was just like, oh, you hungry? Touch his stomach. And then he was just like, don't touch me. You better touch one of them Disneyland dudes or whatever. He made a comment on our way going. Okay, and let me just clarify that. Before you picked him up that day, you testified that you were working. Part of your work had to do with transporting someone to Disneyland, correct? Correct. All right. And so when he made that comment to you about touching one of those Disneyland dudes, did it appear to you that he was expressing maybe some jealousy about you going to Disneyland? Yeah, maybe because I went to work and then I didn't chill with him the day before I went to work. Okay, so you tried to touch his stomach at some point playfully and he wouldn't let you touch his stomach? Correct. All right. I don't really want to go off in that direction. I want to get back to what was happening at this plaza. All right. So he gets back in the car. He tells you to drive. You heard the gunshots. You start to drive right away, correct? Correct. What were you thinking at that point? I was just like, oh my God, what's going on? What happened? What's going on? Were you saying that to yourself or were you saying that out loud to him? I said it out loud to him when he got in the car, but then I started talking to myself, I want to know what's going on. So when you asked him what's going on, what happened, what was his response? He was just like, shut up, you talk too much before I slap you, just like that. So after he said that to me, I just thought to myself, I want to know, what's going on. Okay, so obviously you felt.
For some people who want to know what's going on, this is the testimony of Bryannita Nicholson. She was the getaway driver, y'all, at the Hussle, in the Mr. Hudson grand jury. Okay, She was Eric's girlfriend. Okay, and it's the testimony that the trial is real long, y'all. I was gonna try to skip some of it. The trial is kind of long. I don't feel like playing it. I won't be able to play the whole thing, but this is the girl who was driving the car, y'all. She's just giving her part. Is kind of long. Let me see what happen if I skip. I hate to skip it because she's talking about some good stuff, but I am going to skip it. I'm going to skip this a whole lot. So I'm going to get to the part where it says he was putting the bullet in there and she explained it. Uh, Let me see what part I want to put on there. Uh, it said I was explaining to them that my car was on the news and it seems involved. I don't think the girl had nothing to do with it, y'all. Uh, I think she was too smart for herself, and not knowing that she had no end up dealing with. She got to know the man that she was dealing with. I'm gonna let y'all hear just a little bit of this, little bit almost to the end of the trial of her grand jury trial. I didn't want to play the whole thing, but let's hear this, the last part.
I said he's not going to do a drive-by in my car. I wasn't trying to say he said it. Okay, so if I understand correctly, your testimony today is you told the detective he wanted to do a drive-by, but that's not something he said to you? Right. He didn't say, witness one, drive around the corner, I'm going to do a drive-by, correct? Correct.
So how did
Nevertheless,
wait a minute. So how did she think he was gonna do a drive-by if he didn't say he was gonna do a drive-by? That don't make sense.
You must have seen something to think that he
Yes.
wanted to do a drive-by, whether he said it or not, correct? Correct. So what did you see or hear that made you tell the detectives that you thought he wanted to do a drive-by? When he was loading the gun up in the 9mm, he was loading it in the magazine. So let me ask you some questions. Did he roll down the window and the passenger window and put the gun up to the window? Did he do that? No, the window was already kind of halfway down, but as he was like putting it in, the gun kind of like was moving a little bit. So it was kind of like pointing to the window, but not actually on. It was kind of what I mean, like he was playing. The gun was moving as he was putting the bullet.
So what made this girl think? What made Bryannita think that he was going to do a drive-by if she wasn't thinking he was going to do nothing wrong?
It's in there. Did he at any time look, as you were driving by that opening, look towards where Nipsey had been or was standing with the gun pointed? No. Okay, go ahead. Okay. So is it your testimony that when you told the officer that he wanted to do a drive-by, the officer, through his subsequent questions, assumed in his questioning that Eric told you he wanted to do a drive-by? Is that what you're explaining? Yes. At page 104, after that exchange that I just read, there was this exchange. The detective says, so at what point when he got in the car with that food, he told you he wanted to do a drive-by? Your answer, when he told me to go around and I was like, you're not fitting to do a drive-by in my car. And then that's when he told me to pull around back. Do you recall those questions? Yes. And those answers? Yes. So clearly, the detective in his question says, at what point when he got in the car did he tell you he wanted to do a drive-by? You had an opportunity there to tell the detective, well, he never actually said he wanted to do a drive-by. That was just something that I said because of how he was behaving. You had a chance to point that out there, did you not? Yeah, I did. But how the transcript is, like you're reading it to me, it wasn't like that. Seemed like in the interview that they was giving me, because like he is like, I'm not saying he did it. Okay. But you never told the detectives that he didn't say it, correct? Correct. I want to read another passage to you on page 105. Again, this is the detective asking you a question. Did he say who he was going to do a drive-by on? Answer, no. Detective, no. Answer, he just said, oh, I'm sorry. Detective, he just said, let's do a drive-by? Detective, did he say where? Answer, right there, right where we was at driving. Question, is he like pointing or is he saying? Answer, he didn't point, he had the gun down. And then because I was talking to him, I was like, you're not fitting to do something right here. I was talking to him and stuff. So he had it low. Do you recall that exchange talking to the detectives again about when or who he said he was going to do a drive-by on? No. It appears, you correct me if I'm wrong, that from the questions that were asked to you here, the detective is assuming, based on what you told him, that Eric told you he wanted to do a drive-by. And in these questions, you aren't correcting him by saying, no, he never actually said he wanted to do it. I said.
Yeah, I believe this girl is involved. How would she think? How would she? How would you know if this man about to do a drive by if he didn't say he was about to do a drive by? Now she testified against him earlier that she had no knowledge of what Eric was going to do. This girl need to be locked up, y'all. She knew everything. Allegedly, she knew everything he was going to do. I believe she knew the whole time she was going to be. She was part of this conspiracy.
You're not going to do it because of the conduct, what I saw in the car. Correct. Later on page 106, the detective asks, and he's talking to you here about hearing the gunshots and you moving your car from the alley onto the street after hearing the gunshots. He's asking you about that. All right. Question. But you knew he was about to go shoot somebody? Answer. I didn't know who he was going to go shoot. Detective. Question. But you knew he was going to go shoot somebody? Answer. Yes, because I seen the gun. Were the
Lord have mercy, y'all hear that? This the getaway driver, y'all. She knew he was about to go shoot somebody, but she didn't know who he was about to shoot. Come on now.
those questions asked and were those answers given? Yes. So were you telling the detective here that when you saw the gun and saw Eric leave your car, that you knew he was going to go shoot somebody? At the time, that's when he was kind of asking me, do I think, he would have did something like that? And that's when I was saying, like, yeah, he might. I wasn't sure. That's when when I answered that question. So what is your testimony about that? When you saw him with the gun, you saw him get out of the car, say, wait right here, I'll be back, and he walked off back toward the plaza. Did you believe he was going back there to shoot somebody? No, I didn't believe he was.
Oh.
Okay, in the questions and answers that I just read, it appears that you said, I didn't know who he was going to go shoot, but I knew he was going to go shoot somebody because I saw the gun. I don't recall that.
What?
Okay, are you saying that?
Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this girl? This is Eric's girlfriend, y'all, in the Nipsey Hussle case. She don't change her story twice. Let me skip that because she don't got on my nerve. The case longer than this, y'all. The trial longer than this.
Yeah, I felt a little pressure, but not like I felt pressure, but I was like more so like scared too. Scared of what? DA follow up? Just scared, just talking about it because I was already like shook up about the situation. Question from the grand jury. How much sleep did you have between Monday night and Tuesday morning when you met with the detectives? So after learning what you learned Monday night, how much sleep did you get that night before going to the station to talk to the detectives? I really didn't sleep. Did not sleeping affect your ability to understand or answer questions on that Tuesday morning? DA follow up? DA follow up? Yes. In what way? Like in a way like my body was just tired, like to be able to like answer questions and stuff. My body, it wasn't itself. Was the interview conducted in an interview room at the police station? Yes. How many detectives were in the room with you? 2. Was it a small room? Yes. Did you take any breaks during that 5-hour interview? Meaning, did you get up and leave the room, stretch, talk to your mom, get something to eat?
5-hour interview, but y'all, this really longer than what it is. I just skipped it. But if y'all want to watch it, you can go to you want to hear the testimony, go to Crown TV Court, okay?
Anything like that? No, just use the restroom. Do you believe that they were focused on what the questions were, or did you feel rushed in any That's a compound question. Were you focused on the questions that were being asked? Yes, I was focused trying to give my statement, as best as I remember everything. Did the detectives make you feel rushed at all in the way that they asked the questions? Not so rushed, just kind of like the way they was asking me, like trying to make me feel like I did it. That type of questioning. Okay, well, is it true that basically there were two officers there, but one asked 95% of the questions, correct? Correct. And is it true that they were very polite and cordial to you and respectful to you during the interview? Yes. You have no complaints about the way you were treated, correct? No, just the way the questions was answered. Okay, so at some point, the detective who was asking most of the questions became more accusatory in his questioning and doubtful of some of your answers, correct? Correct. Is that what you mean? Right. When you say that? Yes. All right. Question from the grand jury. Who paid for the motel? He did. Did he, DA follow up, did he ask you to pay for the motel? No. Did you offer to pay for the motel? No. Those are DA follow-up questions. DA follow-up question. When you talked to the detectives, did you tell them about the motel? Yes. Did you tell them where the motel was located? I gave them the card. The card from the motel? Yes. Question from the grand jury. Prior to the shooting, were you in love with Eric Holder? No. Did you, DA follow-up, did you have a strong emotional attachment to him? No. When you were answering those questions to the detectives and to myself, did you feel a desire to try to protect him? No.
And then he went ahead on and said, gunshot, did you think about calling 911? No. Miss Angela, why not? I just didn't think. She said, I just didn't think. Let me stop it. Right. I just didn't think about calling it. I was just trying to get out of there. Um, and the next question was, it's not a follow up. The video that we saw of you walking up to the group and taking a selfie, yes, you were. And then they went on, y'all, and asked other questions like that. Like I said, this grand jury trial was long, y'all. And if you want to go watch it, you can want to listen to it. It's very long. It's almost like a minute and 18 seconds. And you go to Crown TV Court. Y'all tell me, well, let's talk about this. That's what y'all think. What do you all think about this girl? And by Eric telling her, "Don't touch me. You better touch one of them Disneyland dudes." Sound like he the jealous type man too. I hate this happened to Nipsey like this. I really do. I really do. Whew. But y'all, I just want to come in and let y'all get a little bit of the testimony between this the getaway driver Eric, okay? Uh Bryannita Nicholson. She also, y'all, was working on her master's, and she was, had two different jobs. She was a good girl and everything, but it was just some things she did wrong. What this say right now? When I left 58th Street, I kept straight, so I couldn't. I wouldn't be able to go no more. It was just like straight. I'm trying to add something else to this case. Let's see. Um, And did you see him? Okay, now she was asking him, the lawyer was asking her, and she said, is that where he got out of your car? Wait, let's take it back a little bit. She asked her, oh, she did, the lawyer asked her, did she know Eric's last name? She said, not at the time. When did you first learn his last name? When he wanted me to take him to his cousin Harold house. How long had you known him before you learned his last name? It a week. She didn't know the man last name. This is Eric, y'all. She's speaking of the man who shot Nipsey. Uh, when did you first meet this person that you knew as Eric? February the 25th. She don't know the man last name. Come on, ladies. I don't know what they're gonna do with this lady, y'all. This lady here needs to be charged with something. And and then they went at they asked her, okay.
Did you see any guns?
They asked her, so you was in front of the driveway that led to 58th place. A few feet in front of that, correct? And she said, correct. Yeah, this is the getaway driver, and a woman. Is that where he got out of your car? She said, yes. Is that where you testify? He said, wait here. I'll be right back. That what Eric told her. She said, right. And did you see him walk off northbound? That would be toward the top of this photo, with his food container in his hand. Yes. Did you see any guns at this point? At that point, and she said, "Let me see what this girl said, guys. The occasion is not that." All right, y'all. I'm gonna leave it right here. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this testimony. It's shaky to me. Y'all like, share, and subscribe. This is your girl, the real deal, Anita Gill. This is the test part of the testimony. This not the whole testimony, y'all, but it is part of the testimony. And like I say, if you want to see, you want to hear the whole testimony, go to Crown TV Court. Okay, I'm out.